Beijing and Washington go head-to-head as both sides step up tariff threats. Manufacturers here in Taiwan worry the new 32% U.S. tariff could be the nail in the coffin for their business. Stocks continue to slide in Taiwan following a record day of losses on Monday. Plus,
现在很多人都不来花莲玩，然后就说怕来了就回不去啊，因为路就断了。
1 year on from a massive earthquake on Taiwan's east coast, businesses there are still struggling to recover. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Leslie Liao. U.S. President Donald Trump is showing no sign of pulling back on his sweeping tariffs as global markets continue to tumble. Trump is now going head-to-head with China, with both countries refusing to back down from a trade war. Rosie Greninger reports.
U.S. markets end another tumultuous day in the red, as the stock exchange reels from Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on global trading partners. Indices swung between losses and gains on Monday, amid speculation the US president was considering a pause on his policy to make way for negotiations. But Trump is standing his ground, ruling out a pause despite the market uncertainty.
Well, we're not looking at that. We have many countries that are coming to negotiate deals with us, and they're going to be fair deals, and in certain cases they're going to be paying substantial tariffs.
Many world leaders are scrambling to broker an agreement with Trump, as markets across the globe also take a battering. But China, the world's second biggest economy, has taken the path of retaliation, announcing an additional 34% tariff on all American goods. That move prompting a furious response from the US president.
With China, as you know, against my statement, they put a 34% tariff on above what their ridiculous tariffs were already. And I said, if that tariff isn't removed by tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're putting a 50% tariff on above the tariffs that we put on.
The additional levy would bring tariffs on Chinese exports to the US to a rate of 104%. But Beijing is refusing to bow to pressure, calling Trump's threat to escalate tariffs a mistake and blackmail in a statement released by the Commerce Ministry. The country vowing to fight to the end.
中国政府对此强烈谴责，坚决反对。美国的有关做法是典型的单边主义、保护主义和经济霸凌行径，损人害己。
Neighbouring Taiwan is taking a different approach, looking at negotiations instead.
4月3号之前就已经有相关的代表在美方进行任何的沟通，这个是一定的。所以我希望大家给我们多一点的时间，我们尽量把时间能够争取跟世界的其他国家一样，争取到适当的时间。我们绝对有完善的计划，那么有适当的人选可以去做正面的交涉。
Vice Premier Zhang Lingjun would lead a delegation to the US, seeking to lower the proposed 32% levy and increase trade cooperation. A move hoped to calm tensions, as Trump digs in his heels against any threat of retaliation. Ryan Wu and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
Over here in Taiwan, stocks continue to slide as U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs chill investors. TAIEX, Taiwan's weighted stock index, dropped below 19,000 shortly after trading began, dipping to its lowest point since February last year. The exchange is enduring its biggest single-day drop ever after Trump announced 32% tariffs on Taiwan. Other markets around Asia are trending upwards, with Japan's Nikkei index closing up 6%. Meanwhile, the Korean, Hong Kong, and Chinese markets are up slightly. Trump's tariffs are causing deep concerns for Taiwanese manufacturers and labor groups. Here's Tiffany Wong with more.
Business was already going badly for Shenren Textile Company. Over the past few years, the 30-year-old textile manufacturer in Changhua County had already lost many of its customers to cheaper vendors in China and Vietnam. And now, as countries around the world face mounting tariffs from the U.S., the company fears it will not be able to hold on much longer.
因为今年就还没有恢复啊，还在想办法要增加出口量，结果这么下来，这个也不用想了啦，也不用考虑，是减少最大的损失就是赢了啦。
The company is considering laying off workers to cut costs. Although the company doesn't sell directly to the U.S., many of their products end up being exported there. And with tariffs affecting every part of the supply chain, this could raise costs for importers. A fear shared by other manufacturers, like this company that exports industrial nails. An industry representative said that 40% of Taiwan's nail exports go to the U.S.
未来几个月可能会非常的紧张啊，因为原料供应啦，还有这个生产的安排啦，都会影响到。
Labor groups are hoping U.S. tariffs don't push companies to mass layoffs and are urging the government to offer subsidies conditional on no layoffs and no changes in working conditions like wages.
万一有冲击比较大，部分的劳工有面临到失业的状况，我们有对应的方案。如果有企业雇主愿意来雇佣的话，也有一些薪资补贴来鼓励雇主来雇佣再就业。
The Labor Ministry says they will also work with nonprofits to create more job opportunities as Taiwan's manufacturing industries and their workers brace for impact. Justin Wu and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
A Taiwanese general store in New York City is among a raft of small businesses now fighting to survive under Trump's new tariff regime. Yunhai sells premium ingredients shipped in from Taiwan, but they'll soon be subject to a 32% tariff. Joyce Zeng spoke with the shop's founder, Lisa Chang Smith, to find out how they're doing.
Lisa, you're really on the front lines here in terms of impact of Trump's tariffs. Importing foreign goods is central to your business. How are you coping with this new policy? Were you prepared for a 32% tariff?
A lot of the coping is trying to find the fine print to understand what it really means, because it's so easy to read the top line and just panic, essentially. We definitely didn't expect like a 32% tariff. It's quite high. We thought, okay, maybe a few percentage points. Taiwan wasn't really central to the tariff conversation in the United States. But when we saw the 32%, we immediately realized, like, okay, we need to find out what's going on, read the fine print, but also rapidly prepare for change. Truth be told, all of our products that we sell are from Taiwan. People come to our business for Taiwanese goods. So we'll never change that. And what we have to figure out is just how to keep these goods as accessible as possible. And so we're trying to figure out, how do we not raise prices to the point where people won't buy it anymore?
I know there's probably a lot of moving parts right now, but what are some ways you're exploring to manage these added costs?
So the added costs, once we think about all the added costs from the tariffs, but also our domestic costs will be even more expensive. So like, for example, we use boxes here to ship our orders. I'm sure those will get more expensive too. So we're expecting price hikes across the board. So we're essentially adding 40% to our cost basis when we're estimating. So we're trying to figure out what levers we have to pull. So that could be like negotiating with the suppliers. I know the Taiwanese government has put together a sort of fund to help people who are importing or exporting. Our costs are really in like advertising, affiliate payments. So just trying to think about like, okay, what can we do ourselves? How can we work a little bit more smartly to reduce costs?
What are some trade-offs you're willing to make, but what are also the non-negotiables?
The non-negotiable at the heart of Yunhai is just that we will always be intent on telling the story of Taiwan and sharing Taiwanese culture through food. So that's non-negotiable. And everything else is kind of, up for grabs. Like if we need to change a little bit what we're importing or change, our different business channels, we can do that. So long as we don't sacrifice the cultural aspect of our business.
That was Lisa Chang Smith, the founder of Yunhai, a Taiwanese food shop in New York City. Nearly 160 people have been indicted for spying for China since 2020, according to the National Security Bureau. 60% of those indictments were against active or retired military personnel. Defense Minister Wellington Gu said that number indicates the threat China poses to Taiwan. However, Gu noted that most of those indictments came from tips within the military's ranks, which shows that the armed forces' counter-espionage training is effective. Taiwan's intelligence agency says China is using cognitive warfare to sow division in Taiwanese society. A National Security Bureau report says China released over 500,000 pieces of polarizing content on social media since the start of this year. The Bureau believes this campaign is designed to divide Taiwan society, targeting key issues such as President Lai Ching-te's national security speech, TSMC's investment in the U.S., and Chinese military drills. The Bureau's head is scheduled to be questioned about the report by lawmakers on Wednesday. It has been a year since the strongest earthquake to hit Taiwan in more than 2 decades devastated lives and livelihoods across the East Coast. Reporter Reese Ayers revisits businesses in Hualien, once a top tourist attraction, to see how they're coping with the effects it's had on their income.
A traditional truku welcome for visitors to this indigenous activity center and restaurant in eastern Taiwan. But right now, visitors are few and far between. Despite being near some of the country's top tourist attractions, Dajili Tribal House has been starved of income since a deadly 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck here a year ago. It devastated lives and businesses all along the coast. And this centre's proprietor, Sukin Kyosi, says there is still a ways to go before business returns to normal.
去年真的是不要算，因为没有 income， 到目前为止只有上升回来到15%左右。
It's a story repeated across Hualien, home to some of Taiwan's most stunning scenery. Strongly dependent on tourism, everyone here is feeling the pinch. From restaurants to cafes, hotels to market vendors. Dongdamen Night Market is usually flooded with tourists, but now many of the vendors here have shut up shop, and those that remain are surviving on a fraction of the income.
这个整个生意都差很多，好一落千丈，对，大概掉了50%以上。
现在很多人都不来花莲玩，然后就说怕来了就回不去啊，因为路就断了。
And fears of blocked roads are not unfounded. Taiwan is prone to earthquakes and typhoons, and those have caused landslides in this area known for its geological marvels. Much of this national park remains inaccessible since last year's quake, and there are no signs of when it will reopen.
整个园区的恢复时间，目前我们没办法估计，因为每年都有一些台风豪雨会影响我们施工进度的一个进行哦。
Hualien's Tourism Bureau is keen to point out that there's more to Hualien than just Taroko Park. The central and local governments have tried stimulating visits through subsidized stays and benefit concerts, but with limited success. Figures from the Bureau say the industry has only recovered by about 30 to 40%, but there's a concerted effort to try new methods to get people back.
比如说，在我们后山，我们后面的一个田地。 我们去种一些传统的植物，把它富裕起来。那些植物，我们以后可以做成一些新的体验的活动。我们现在也有推低碳旅游。低碳旅游就是骑的单车，可以到我们的部落玩，或是到了太鲁阁去走。
Feeling like they have to fend for themselves, business owners like Kyosi are doing what they can to diversify. The loss of visitor confidence in the county, leaving many here out of pocket, and some running out of time. Chris Ma, Jeffrey Chen, and Reese Ayers in Hualien for TaiwanPlus.
And as Hualien still reels from last year's earthquake, the March 28th quake in Myanmar has people in neighboring Thailand worried their homes may no longer be safe. More on that coming up after the break.
这关乎到人命的事情。The 59th Golden Bell Awards 2024 award-winning Mandarin drama.
辩方主张停止审判。
Court of Lies. Catch Taiwan's hit series now on TaiwanPlus.
From industrial parks in Taiwan to here in Vietnam, we're bringing you the latest in tech and business news right here on TaiwanPlus News.
In the face of adversity, the power of truth.
A roadmap for a just and open world, charted by the freest country in Asia.
Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
TaiwanPlus News, a voice of freedom in Asia.
Hello and welcome to Taiwan Talks. I'm Ian Kavat. Today we examine China's engagement with Africa.
So, unfortunately, this very aggressive form of cultural revolution-like politics in China seems to be moving forward in this modern era.
This grave injustice is happening.
The issue is, what can the U.S. do to help strengthen Taiwan?
We need that kind of mindset to prepare for the warfare.
What implications does this have on Taiwan and the region as a whole?
Just like Ukraine right now, you need people to understand we're doing this for our own country.
Reaffirmed our support for the Taiwanese ability to make their own decisions about their own future.
It's very hard to duplicate in the short time. Taiwan still can continue being the leading position if we put efforts on R&D.
And you are riding on a wave. This is exactly the time you need to double down.
Or I did not realize I am actually running to be the first Asian woman in the state senate. Our next generation, they can see Asian American is as equal and have the same platform.
Taiwan Talks provides a platform for the voices and perspectives that are shaping our country.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. Donald Trump says his administration will hold direct, high-level talks with Iran over its nuclear program on Saturday. Trump was talking at a joint press conference alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. During his first term, Trump withdrew the U.S. from a deal meant to slow Iran's nuclear development. Since then, Iran's nuclear program has advanced significantly. Iran confirmed the meeting in Oman, which they called indirect high-level talks. Trump warned of serious consequences if the talks fall through.
If diplomacy fails, is the United States, under your leadership, ready to take military action to destroy the Iranian nuclear program and remove this threat?
I think if the talks aren't successful with Iran, I think Iran is going to be in great danger. And I hate to say it, great danger, because they can't have a nuclear weapon.
Netanyahu echoed Trump, saying Iran must never have nuclear weapons. The Philippines is accusing China of aggressive behavior in the South China Sea, saying Chinese Coast Guard vessels repeatedly tried to ram one of its ships. The Philippine Coast Guard released footage of the incident, which took place on Sunday, along with a statement calling China's actions dangerous. Videos show a large Chinese vessel coming dangerously close to the Philippines ship. China then appears to send a second, smaller vessel towards the ship. Local media reports say the exchange happened in waters off the coast of the Philippines region of Luzon. South Korea will hold snap elections to elect a new president on June 3rd after former President Yoon Suk Yeol was removed from office. The country's constitutional court last week upheld Yoon's impeachment for his short-lived declaration of martial law. South Korean law requires a presidential election to be held within 60 days if the position falls vacant.
60일이라는 짧은 기간 내에 차기 대통령을 선출하는 선거입니다. 선거에 대한 국민의 관심이 유례없이 높은 만큼 더욱 공정하고 투명한 선거가 되도록 지원하겠습니다.
Polls show Democratic Party leader Lee Jae-myung, who ran against Yoon in 2022, as the frontrunner to replace him. Bangkok residents are seeking safer and stronger homes after a major earthquake shook the capital and it damaged hundreds of buildings. Our reporter Sandy Chi explains.
Oh my God.
Wait!
After a huge earthquake shook Thailand on March 28th, Patsakorn waited 2 days before returning to his Bangkok apartment. But instead of feeling safe at home, he feels uneasy looking at the long cracks in the 22nd floor residence.
I have two options. First option, I will back to my family house, but it's too far from Bangkok, about 1 hour from here. And I will move to live in low-life condo, about 7th floor. Here I live is 22 floor. So I feel a little bit scared. And also my mom told me to move out from here.
The young man is among the many Bangkok residents left shaken by the recent massive earthquake. Hundreds of buildings in the city were damaged by the magnitude 7.7 tremor that originated in neighboring Myanmar. This event has prompted greater awareness about the need for earthquake-resistant homes.
大家其实并不看重抗震这一块，没有考虑说抗震，客户也没有在找房的时候特意提出来说一定要对抗震有什么样的考虑和要求。但这一次的时候，他们就会提出来说，一定是比如说如果是现房，一定是不能受到地震影响的，就是在这一次地震里面，它毫发无损，或者是就是影响到比较小的。
Many are also looking to relocate to somewhere safer in the city.
比如说，他可能原本他住在高层，但是这一次受到的影响比较大，那他产生了一个恐慌的一个心理，所以现在对于矮层的需求反而就是扩大了。
An earthquake engineering expert says, before 2009, Thailand didn't have comprehensive earthquake-resistant building standards. This means many older buildings weren't designed to withstand strong tremors. With this earthquake stirring public fear and anxiety, there may be a real push in the country for more quake-proof homes. Klein Wong and Sani Chi for TaiwanPlus.
A volcanic eruption in the central Philippines has forced nearby schools to cancel classes. Mount Canlaon spewed debris 4 kilometers into the sky on Tuesday morning, raining ash down on its surrounding villages. The area near the volcano was already under evacuation orders since an eruption last December. No deaths or injuries have been reported in relation to the most recent eruption, though the country's chief volcanologist said the possibility of a bigger eruption is always there. In Pakistan, rising temperatures have led to water scarcity in some villages, but some farmers have found an innovative way to tackle the problem. Chelsea Wu has the story.
The frost-covered valleys of Gilgit-Baltistan in Pakistan, nestled at the base of K2, the world's second highest mountain. Farmers in this remote region are facing severe water shortages. To overcome this, they've come up with an innovative solution, building ice towers in winter.
जब से आइस टॉपर नहीं बना था उस वक़्त हम ज़राअत हम मई में करता था। जब से ये आइस टॉपर बना है हमने बारिश में ज़राअत किया है और 2-3 फसलें हम उगाते हैं अभी। पहले हम एक फसलें उगा के पानी की किल्लत की वजह से बैठते थे, अभी 2-3 हम उगा सकते हैं।
Warmer winters brought about by climate change have led to less snowfall and reduced seasonal snowmelt in the valley. With temperatures in Pakistan rising at twice the global average in recent decades, local villages find themselves on the front line of climate-related water scarcity. To keep their crops alive, farmers have turned to the internet to learn about other irrigation methods.
हमारे साथियों ने YouTube पर देखा था कि कोई लद्दाख से के जो है ना वांगचुक उसका नाम है, उसने जो है ना एक मैदान के ऊपर जो है ना एक छोटा सा जो है ना वो क्या कहते हैं मीनारे की तरह का जो है ना एक बर्फ जमा के जो है ना अपने यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए वो उसमें जो ना पानी की कमी को वो पूरा कर रहे थे। उसको देख के उसका देखी हमने यहाँ पर इसका शुरू किया।
The ice tower technique was developed about a decade ago. During the freezing winter months, water is piped in from nearby streams and sprayed into the air. This forms large cone-shaped ice structures that resemble Buddhist stupas. These frozen towers act as natural reservoirs. gradually melting in the spring to provide much-needed water as temperatures begin to rise.
That ice mount becomes a regular water source for early spring. जब तक ऊपर से ग्लेशियर पिघल के नहीं आता तो ये एक पानी का जरिया बन जाता है और इस तरह से जो है फसलें ठीक हो जाती हैं और ये बहुत सक्सेसफुल है इस वक्त इंशाल्लाह लोगों की डिमांड भी बहुत ज़्यादा है.
More than 20 villages in Gilgit-Baltistan have adopted the ice tower method. While the innovation offers a lifeline for farmers, uncertainty looms over how long they can withstand the mounting pressures of a rapidly changing climate. Scott Huang and Chelsea Wu for TaiwanPlus.
In Major League Baseball, the Pittsburgh Pirates have called up Taiwanese infielder Zheng Zhongze. Zheng had started the season with the Pirates minor league affiliate team in Indianapolis. The Pirates announced his promotion via social media on Monday. He's the first Taiwanese player to make it to the major leagues in 2025. The Pirates put Zheng on the roster after placing infielder Jared Triolo on the injured list. Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, let's take a glimpse at a new exhibition of British artist David Hockney, his largest retrospective to date. I'm Leslie Liao. Take care and see you next time.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app.